All right, here we are. It's Friday. You know what that means? It's time for John's Dungeon Corner at the Collective in Altamont Springs, Florida. Yes, it's a cool 64 degrees. It's nice outside though. You can run around in a t-shirt still. Oh yeah, we're loving it. So, all right, here we are. We're at T minus 9 days from Christmas. Have you done your holiday shopping? Have you gotten those last minute gifts? If the answer to that is no, any of that, then come on down to the Collective. Check out all the great stuff that's here, from miniatures to dice to books to comic books, just about anything and everything you can want for your collector or your gamer or your D&D fan, whatever it may be. Come on down, check everything out. And remember, one of my favorite things, if for some reason you're not sure what to get them a gift certificate. They're gonna love it because then they can come down here and get what they like. Oh yeah, good stuff there. All right, so all things Dungeons and Dragons. Well, let's start talking about some of the cool stuff that has come in. As you see, there's a lot of little things here. I didn't want to bring out any big stuff. I mean, it's all out there. You've seen a lot of it. Some of it is being reordered. Hopefully, it'll be here by Christmas. So make sure you come in. I'm telling you. Sometimes things take a little bit to restock. So come on down if you're looking for that particular something and come and get it while the get is good. All right. So let's talk about some of the cool things that have come in. We got a restock on all the plushies. Oh, yeah. Red Dragon is in the house. Cool Red Dragon here. Very nice. Very nice. You can put him up on the shelf, carry him around with you. He can be your assistant dungeon master. He can be your good luck charm in the game, right? Good stuff here. And there's all kinds of the owl bears and the troll, all kinds of stuff up there. We got a restock of the Norse Foundry dice trays. You've seen these. They got the nice felt inside. You roll it. You can hold, I think, 6 sets of dice around it. Really nice. Highly sought after. And they come in a lot of different colors and a lot of different patterns on the front of them. That one has a purple dragon. Of course, there's a silver beholder and the unicorn. All kinds of neat stuff there. Moving along. Dice Towers. Oh, my gosh. I've talked about Dice Towers, but got the red dragon in. Looks really cool. He's red and gold with the tower. Dice go up here. Here we go. Let's see. That die won't fit. It's too big. All right. Too big. I ain't got no small dice with me today. Everything's big so I can see what I'm not looking at. All right. But you get the idea. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we roll the die up here. Ta-da. It comes out there. Oh, look, a 3. Favorite number 3. All right, what do we got here? Ooh, a 5. All right, so you get the idea, right? Nice dice tower there. Makes a great Christmas gift. All right. Of course, dice. 7 more dice. Oh, my gosh, there's so many dice. Tons of dice, I'm going to tell you. Old school, foam brain, Chessex. Just so many dice. It's awesome. Then, you got to see this one. These just came in. These are all metal. They're heavy. They're really cool. They're D20s. Now, this one is like a prism. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. See how pretty that is? And all the numbers are different colors. So gorgeous die. Okay. Really cool. And there's quite a few of them. Different colors, different color combinations there. This is really nice. So there's shiny ones like this. They're all metal, really nice. They're heavy. And I have it inside one of these neat little fold-out cases from Norse Foundry that you can put dice in, okay? This makes some nice little stocking stuffer. You can buy a set of dice and just kind of put them right in here, close them up, wrap it up, boop, and into the stocking it goes, right? Very nice. Want to put that right there to hold it in place? Yeah. That's a big, heavy die. You do not want that one falling. Of course, more dice. Some of the new things, though. Some of the new things that have come in. Got the Space Elf, the Astral Elf Patrol for Spelljammer. Very cool. Has 4 different ships in it. A Star Moth, a Solar Dragon, a Damsel, an Ancient Lunar Dragon. Very nice. Okay, so that's back in. I love the colors are so amazing in the Spelljammer that I like to show them off when they come in. Let's see if we can take a look at that. Colors look really cool, really nice. All right. Those are really nice. Okay, so got some Pathfinder miniatures in. Real cool. These are the iconic Heroes Evolved. Comes with 3/6 miniatures, and these are just heroes that you can use for your characters. Hero figs. And then right below it, or it's bigger and older and badder brothers, the advanced iconic heroes. Yeah, these are really cool. These are all heroes here. Really nice. A set of them. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again, with a dragon and a 9-tailed fox, I think it is. Not quite sure. But it looks really cool. Yeah, it's a fox. Let me get my glasses. That would help if I get my glasses. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Let me see what we got. It's a, let me see here. Daji the fox. Okay, so it's a named pet. So that's very cool in there. All right. These are the heroes. Over here, yet another one, heroes and villains. So this one has heroes. You can use them as heroes. You can use them as villains. I guess the ones on the right, you got a shield marshal, a Sulidan dancer, a guard, a manipulator, an infiltrator, and some disciples. Very cool. There's 8 in total. And then, of course, the Masters of Magic. Oh, these are nice. 8. These seem to be all like creatures. Very cool. A Manticore. Ooh, a Manticore that's a spellcaster. What? That'd be, Rakasha. Ooh, Rakasha's always fun, right? And the Rakasha has like a fox, a 2-headed fox on its shoulders. Very nice. Wow. And the Freak Pyrochemist. I'm telling you, they got some really cool stuff going on here. And then now these are really cool. I don't know how many of you are aware, but in the astral realm, there are many menaces. In the ethereal realm, there are many menaces, not just monsters. And this is, of course, one of them. This is a Githyanki warband. So you got a warrior, a wizard, a supreme commander, a sorcerer, a Gish, a Githrak, and a monk. And they're all Githyankis. Oh, boy, that's a warband you don't want to run into on the ethereal astral plane wandering around. Wow. That is one mean band of Githyankis. I'll tell you that right now. Good grief. All right. And then, along with that, we got some really neat miniatures that came out. I got to come up here and show you this one. This was just too cool. So this is a headless monster, right? So it comes like so. Notice the 2 heads up on top. You can have them wander around as a headless monster, or you can attach one of the heads to it, and I guess you can change them out. Just don't glue it in. You can use like a little of that blue tacking and just put it in there. Once it's all ready, you can change the head around. It's so cool. So this is one of the new miniatures that's come out. And then here, this is a really nice one too. I just kind of grabbed a few. This is a dead warlord. You can use them both on the throne right there, cracked throne, or walking around with his sword. You know, his sword on his lap, or his sword is sitting down, or his sword in hand coming after you. It's your pick. Oh boy, I don't know that I want him coming after you, but I think it's a cool miniature. And then, of course, not only do we have vampires, but we have the Nosferatu. Which are vampires? Another word for vampires, but there they are. Nosferatu. These are really neat. I figure I grab those and show them off because sometimes you don't need the big boss. And then this is a really neat concept. Of course, a lot of the miniatures come due, but this one is an elf rogue and a half elf rogue protege. So you got the rogue and you got the protege, kind of like a follower. Very, very cool. I like it. I like it. And there's, of course, some more miniatures out there that I'm not going to try to fill this up with. And then last but not least, I think, around the holidays, it's neat to talk about this. If you're wondering what to cook, what to make, and maybe you want to theme it a little bit, maybe you want to make it special, got in the Dungeons and Dragons Hero Feast, the official Dungeons and Dragons D&D cookbook. And we've actually cooked a couple times out of this. And wow, all I can tell you is wow. The food in here, it's just really good. So you got it's themed. You got by race and that, but this is the actual Yawning Portal menu. Okay. And here, this is the actual menu for it. So it's in the book. Yes. So we have tavern steak, gingerbread man. Oh, that tavern steak looks so good. I'm telling you. There is a tavern steak with the recipe and how to cook it and the directions and everything that you need is in here. We cooked some of this stuff up a couple times and it's been so good. So good. I mean, you got breads, you got Wood Elf food here, cherry bread, Qualinesti vegetable stew from Kren, plate of gold. This is all an appetizer for dwarves. A dwarven appetizer serves 4. It shows you how to make the sauce, the tempura sauce and everything. Ooh, the sweet and sour sauce. Oh, hey, my love, how are you? The black pudding. Who says black pudding isn't edible, right? But yeah, just all kinds of hogs and bedrolls. I mean, there is just so much good stuff here. And then, of course, you got the halfling, the halfling food. Oh, this is good. Fire spice abyssal chicken kebabs. They're abysmally delicious. No pun intended. Yes. Deep gnome, Trillimac pods, mushrooms, right? There's just so much good food in this one. So I think that, and there's some nice drinks in the back. As I like to call it, adult drinks. So this would make a great gift. And then afterwards, you can make a nice meal for New Year's or any special occasion. We did a year-end feast at the house. Was it last year? Last year. And we cooked out of it. We cooked out of it a couple times. Just sometimes you don't even have to make the feast. Just make a couple things, It's really good. So that's all the stuff that we have, new stuff that we've got going on here. And some stuff, things have been restocked that have been out. Like I said, you got to get down. You got to get what you want when you want it. If not, if you come looking for something and it's not here, give them a gift certificate. I think that's really neat because they can order. They can come down and order it. And or you can, if you're looking for something specific and it's not here, here's a neat thing to do. You can always order it. And then let's say it's just, for instance, $30. Nice simple number. You can get a gift certificate for $30 and you give it to them and you tell them, look, I went to get you this, but they didn't. Here's the gift certificate so that you can go get it when it comes. It's been ordered. And that's the cool thing. You order it, you put it in their name, and they'll hold it here. Hey, it doesn't get any better than that. It's great customer service here. So today's topic. Oh, and look, there's just the plain old, these are nice dice trays. They make great gifts, by the way. There's a lot of simpler things here, dice bags and that aren't, very really elaborate. So simple little gifts, it's a gift. Oh, looky, I almost forgot. The Army Painter brushes, the 3-pack. Really cool. A couple of people asked me about that when I showed them the big boxes. Hey, that big box. Yes, there's an Army Painter set right here. And there's the starter paintbrush. It comes with 3 brushes. The dry brush, let's see. It comes with the dry brush, the standard brush, and a small detail brush. Great set of brushes to start with. Really good, really nice. So now to the nitty gritty. All right, so as you know, we have a lot of campaigns that run through here. And we've talked about this, kind of touched on all these things. So someone was asking because they've seen that we have different DMs that will run games on a Wednesday where the same characters are running around through the campaign. You're like, wait a minute, but he was just playing his game. Now he's playing in his game. Like, wait a minute, John, isn't that the character starting John's campaign? Yes, and yes. Because the neat thing about Dungeons and Dragons is what we've done here is several DMs have gotten together and said, okay, well, we're going to take turns running things. So I'll run things for like 2 to 3 weeks, a month, and then we'll switch out in the next one. And that way you can both play and run a game. So that's how that whole, you'd have to kind of, the question was, can characters play more than one campaign, or can one campaign be made up of more than one game master? I guess it was interesting the way they worded it, all right? But, and this is something that we talked about, so I don't have it in writing, unfortunately. This is a question that they asked me when they were here last Wednesday. So therein, it's kind of like a a round robin table, I guess you could say, where the DM switch off from time to time. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm running an orcish, goblinish, goblinoid kind of campaign. Antonio's running more of a mystery door kind of campaign where you open the doors and you go into different parts of this multi-dimensional dungeon. Is really cool. But each door leads to its own little adventure. So that's really nice. Whereas with mine, you're more in the realm, and here's where you are. That particular place, that mansion that you go into, is set in that campaign. So it's set somewhere in the campaign where you go to it, and that's where that campaign leads off of. And along the same lines, you can actually do that with several game masters. You can do it where they're all in the same continent, like with mine, with what we're doing. I basically run an area, and in there's goblins and there's orcs and trolls and spiders and And then when you go travel to this mansion, and it's not even a mansion. I call it a mansion, but it's not really a mansion. It's a house that gives way into an interdimensional, like a huge palace type castle. And from there, of course, you go and you open different doors, and doors lead to another, which is the adventure, another dimensional rift or dimensional plane or whatever you want to call it, plane of existence. And that's where that adventure happens. Then you come back out and you'll go to a different door. And so each session or sessions, although apart from the bigger picture, are all part of the same campaign. And the same characters are pretty much can be traveling through them. Now, sometimes for whatever reason, a campaign outruns the other campaign and kind of takes on a life of its own. Well, it's okay. You just create new characters and continue on. That's the best part about this. Like in our campaign right now, we have 3 DMs with 3 different sets of characters because I had to sit there and take a little break from game mastering. Antonio took over but they got kind of past where I was. So I started a different campaign within the same. Once again, it was my campaign that I had started, and then Antonio came in and we're going back and forth. And I kind of had to, because of school, I had to kind of step back a little bit. And this last year, and then Antonio's been running it. He's done a really good job. So those characters have kind of outrun where I was at. So what I did was, that's fine. I just went back to what those original characters and just keep pushing it forward from there. So the one set of characters in my campaign are, I think, at 3rd level. Antonio's are at 10th. So you can see there's been a little bit more playing in one than the other, but they're still interlinked or can be interlinked. We've both used the interdimensional. I have an arena that characters are called to from time to time to fight for prizes and for bragging rights, and that individually as teams of 2, a group battle. So that's really neat. And Antonio's, there's arena fights, there's floating castles, so even though they're different, they're still in the same game system. They're still on the same plane of existence also. Now, for multiple game masters, you kind of got to agree. If you're going to use, so let's say characters in all 3 campaigns or in 4 campaigns or in 2 campaigns, however many it is, the game masters kind of have to communicate back and forth because you don't want to imbalance the game by giving out either too much gold or too much magic items or accelerating the levels too much. So that's something that's a communication that has to be kept there, an avenue of communication between the game masters to make sure that nothing really outruns the other. Okay, so that's that. You love the idea of floating castles. Well, in Antonio's, there's a black floating castle on a cloud. Yes, and dragons. Yeah, lots of dragons, but not yet. Soon, but not yet. There's a level that has to be reached before you start messing with the dragons, unless they're little wormlings. But then you got to be careful with baby mom, the baby's mama dragon. Oh boy! If you think a mama bear can be mean, can you imagine what a dragon will do? So yeah. But the game is called Dungeons and Dragons, so yes, there are dragons. Lots of dungeons to explore, lots of dragons to run from. Or chase, or try to get their gold. Oh boy, good luck with that. Yeah. So the floating castle is a cool idea, though. We even, in that one, in Antonio's campaign, we've even gone underwater into an underwater realm. Woo-wee! Now, listen, this is not something you start out doing. This is something you work towards. We were at 10th level at that point. So it's stuff that you need magical items, you need higher level spells and first level spells to be able to exist underwater for any length of time. Potions only last so long, spells only last so long. So there are magical items that let you work that out. But the first level characters, it's going to be hard put to get their hands on some of that gear. So, yeah, but there's a lot of different things that you could do. He's been wanting to do an underwater thing. He did it. He did a really good job with it. We got through it. It took like four sessions to get through, and we made it. And, it was really cool. We had to, it was just really cool. I'm not going to tell you because he may run that for somebody else someday. I don't want to spoil it, but it was a lot of fun. Everybody had a good time, and and he did a good job of. So something about a campaign, since we're talking about that, is you got to be able to stage your campaign and be able to adapt to what's going on in the campaign. But the players, the players will do crazy things on you. You expected them to come fight like he did, and we didn't fight at all. We kind of, in a way, I guess you could say it was anticlimactic because it was like going to be this huge battle, and it was all worked out with with dancing, music and dancing, if you can believe it. Imagine a breakdance battle and two people colliding, and there you go. Yeah, bards playing music and kings dancing. Don't ask. I'm not going to tell you. It was just a lot of fun if you could just imagine that. Oh, and two players becoming one because of a talking halo. Yeah, right? It makes you wonder, what is this guy talking about? But it all worked itself out really well. Oh, man. It was so much fun. But that's what I'm talking about. And that was what Antonio was running. So, along with that, as I was saying, when you do the multi-dungeon master campaign, especially if you're going to run together, orcs, goblins, trolls, underwater, in the mountains, in the air, another plane, all that can work together. We've talked about it before with the multi-dimensional. I mean, there's so many lands, so many worlds that you can put together too, where there's gates between the worlds if you wanted to do it that way. Say Antonio wanted to run the Dragonlance campaign in Krynn, and I ran my own in the Eldritch Kingdoms, and somebody else wanted to run one in the Forgotten Realms. Well, they're all on different planes of existence. Or by the same token, you could just go, okay, well, Krynn, instead of being a world, now is this huge continent, right? The Forgotten Realms is now a continent. Eldritch Kingdoms is a continent. And now the player can either sail across, and you can have like a seafaring adventure with islands and cool stuff like that. They can fly across on Pegasuses, stopping in little islands or rock outlets in the ocean. They could teleport if they've been there before. There could be gates that bring them from one place to the other. There could be interdimensional beings that do it. I mean, oh my gosh. The possibilities are limitless. Anything you can imagine, you can do. And you can run all three of those different worlds as continents or land masses within one massive world. Oh, that'd be a hoot. So instead of having all these little worlds separated in the material plane, you could just take them all and drop them into one planet. This is the planet. This is it. And it's called Cucamonga. And within it is the world, the continent of Krynn, Eldritch Kingdoms, and Forgotten Realms. There you go. It's your world. You can do anything you want. Remember, the rules are just guidelines. You can change things around. You can move things around. I don't recommend that for beginning game masters and players, but as you evolve in the game, as you get down the mechanics and you start understanding what works, because you don't want to overbalance the game one way or the other. That might not make it fun for either you or the players. Remember, no one really survived. If you lived, you won as a player. And if you entertained the players, Dungeon Master, you won. That's it. Okay? It's not about killing them. There you go, bro. Yay. Hey, Willie. Feeling better? Speedy recovery, brother. But yeah. It's one of those things. with the worlds, especially because there's so many of them. And the crazy part is there's more coming out. I mean, now you got the Spelljammer that came out. Spelljammer came out and kind of opened up other pathways now. You can get on the Spelljammer ships and go off. Yeah. And there's worlds out there that you can explore. The Sunless Citadel, or the Bright Citadel, what it's called. Yeah. Anyway, there's so much out there. You've got the Critical Role world that you can stick in there. So much. It just depends on your imagination, how much work you want to put into it. Yes, Game Masters, if you want to do something like this, it's going to take some work. Yep. It won't do itself for you. Everything's out there for you, but you got to kind of put it all together and balance it out and kind of make it work. Okay? That's the one thing. It's not going to do it for you. It's not going to do it for you. But if you have a collaboration of other Game Masters, hey, that's great because, there's no reason not to take a Game Master who's playing your game and say, listen, I need you to run this short little adventure at the tavern for them, a role-playing session, because I'm going to take these 4 and I'm going to go do this because they weren't here last session. I want to finish this up. Why don't you do some role-playing with them? Maybe set up the next adventure. See? Ta-da! Cooperation even within the game. Okay? There's so much, like I said, it really it's up to you. The imagination that you have, how far you want to go with the game, how involved you want it to be. Is it more of a combat-oriented game? Is it a RPG kind of game? And some sessions will be combat. It is what it is. Okay? And some are going to be mixed RPG, some role-playing and some combat. And some of them maybe more heavily, with smaller groups, you can do even more role-playing. Follow the lead of your players. They'll usually point you in the right direction that they want to go in. That's my best advice to you. Now, let's talk about a couple things. And I'm going to kind of keep that simple because campaign management and stuff it's something else. It's not just open up a book and let's start playing. But it is a lot of fun, and it can be really satisfying. You can write whole stories out of them. I am. But, okay, so let's talk about some of the up-and-coming things that are going to be happening next year. I'm going to kind of talk about it in the future, okay? So I'm going to take the John's Dungeon Corner, and I'm still going to highlight, kind of change this format a little bit. We're going to keep highlighting all the new stuff that comes out, whether it's dice or miniatures or paints, books, whatever. But when it comes to this section, I'm still going to take questions, but I'm going to just talk about them really quick. What I'm going to do with the show is, because I've gotten some requests and people have been asking me, and whether an email or here on Wednesdays or just when they see me, I'm going to start breaking down the show on a monthly basis. So I'm going to pick a theme. Like the first thing I'm going to pick is Dungeon Mastery. Okay? Because the Dungeon Master, the Game Master, whatever you want to call him, the person running the game, they set up the world. They do a lot of things for the players. They are the backbone of the game. The players are the actors. They are the protagonists. They play their characters. They are the actors. Whereas the Game Master, that person who's running the game, is everything else. They're the background, the atmosphere, the terrain. They are the monsters, the NPCs, the sky above. They are storyteller, villain, and orphan child. They are all those things and so much more. Okay? So always thank your Game Master, always thank your Dungeon Master, because they put a lot of work into their campaigns. I can tell you from experience, there's a lot of work to be done. And even when you think you just got it all done, something else sneaks in on you because your players will do something crazy and you got to fly by the seat of your pants sometimes. And that's okay. That means that they're interested and they're thinking and they're having a good time. So with that in mind, I'm going to start the series, the first in January, the weeks of January, whether there's 4 Fridays or 5 Fridays, however many Fridays there are, I'm going to be talking about Dungeon Mastering. And it's going to be a series. So that'll be that. I'm going to talk about what it is, what you need, how to do it. And I've talked about this before, but what I'm trying to do now is you can go, so in 23, you'll be able to click on, and it'll have a series. January, Dungeon Mastering. The art of running a game. And it'll talk about putting it together. It'll talk about how to create characters, the world, I'll go in depth. I'll pick out a couple of worlds in one and kind of talk about them and give you an idea about challenge ratings, all that good stuff that create, if you want to create your own, the products that are out there to get you started. Yeah, I'm going to go all over that once again and probably say things that I probably didn't think about at them because I was more into answering questions or talking about product. Because sometimes I'll talk about product and then not so much with the starting products, but I won't talk about them again because, hey, they're done. So in that series, I'll be talking about certain products that go with what I'm talking about. That will help you on your way. The next month, probably, how to create characters. How to create a character from beginning to end. And that'll probably take a couple sessions and kind of, okay, now that our character's created, when we get the second, third level, at the fourth level, there's milestones in the game, like at third level. That's when some at second level, some at third, you start choosing your paths, you start choosing your schools, your specialties, what kind of bard am I going to be, what kind of fighter am I going to be, barbarian, what path am I going to follow, that kind of thing. What kind of so many things there. And then at fourth level, defeat or not defeat, to defeat or not defeat. But that's about the feats. Should I, if my game master allows it, do I go after a feat or do I improve my ability scores? What else can I do? That's something I'll have talked about in the Dungeon Master month. So it'll kind of be consecutive as we go. How to put a series on campaign. I'm open to ideas. Now, the first month is going to be about dungeon mastering. The second part is going to be about player characters. After that gives you guys a couple of months, okay, to send me in questions and say, hey, can you talk about this? What about if we did this for setting up a dungeon? If that's what you want to talk about for, how to set up different types of adventures, how to link adventures together. That could be like, adventures, how to create them and how to link them. That could be an entire series there. So by the end of the year, I'll have like this 12-part series that hopefully will cover a lot. Probably not all because there's a lot to it, but it'll cover a lot of the basic and probably intermediate things that go into Dungeons and Dragons. And it'll become a little bit more evolved towards the end. I might come back and kind of grasp some new Dungeon Master, player character, and adventure and kind of do 1 month out of those three, an advanced version of it. Because everybody starts at first level, but a lot of people sit there and think that at 20th level the game's over. Let me tell you how wrong that is. At 20th level, you're just starting to sit there and hit the tip of the iceberg. You're just breaking past that. And that's when it gets good. Now, how do we go from 20th to 21st? Well, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that when that time comes, right? But enjoy those first 20 levels, especially the first 5. I love the first 5 levels of a campaign. I wouldn't miss first level for the world. It's hard, it's rough, it's tough, but it's what molds your character, especially for a beginning character. Sage, how are you? Got any sci-fi board games? Oh, yeah. There's quite a few sci-fi board games here. Off at the top of my head. Oh, wait a minute. There's one right here. Is this a board game? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, here we go. Now, this is about Dungeons & Dragons, but I'm going to Sage, for you, I'm going to show you this one. This is a game of bounty hunters, mercenaries, and smugglers for 1 to 4 players. It's called Star Wars Outer Rim. Look at that. Comes with, it's a pretty cool looking game. But it's called The Outer Rim. And they got it for sale right here. And there's others, but that's the only one that I have back here. It just happens to be back here. It's funny you came on the show today and asked about it because otherwise I would have had to run out there and try to find one. But yeah, and there's other games out, other board games. Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's the Star Wars. It's about bounty hunters. Well, like I said, and there's others, not Star Wars really, but other board games that are sci-fi. Some of them have miniatures, some of them don't. They're really cool. So yeah, come on down. Run down here. There's a whole section back down board games in the front. And actually some of these games, if they're in the back, on the back shelves, there's open games that you can actually sit down and try before you buy. which is really cool because you can try a couple games, play a couple turns, see if it's something you like, and then buy it. Or if it's not, you can try a different game. So that's the neat thing about the collective. You know, it's a community of gamers for gamers. So definitely. And you know, if you ever have questions, you can send them over to me. They're right there at johnsdc2021@gmail.com. I answer questions, and if I don't have the answer, I'll find it for you because somebody here will know, or we'll find out who does know and ask them. All right? But welcome to the show, by the by. So anyway, that's all I got for today. I'm going to close down, head on down the road. But remember, Christmas is right around the corner. Don't forget those loved ones or just the people that you care about. Want to buy them a little something. There's dice, there's board games, there's comic books, there's miniatures and card games, and of course, more miniatures and dice. Lots and lots of dice. I love dice. Purple dice, clear dice, blue dice. Looky here, green dice. Love them all. So 20-siders, 4-siders, 6-siders. The cookbook is a lot of fun. We've cooked out of it. We got dice towers. These metallic dice are really cool. I love them. They're heavy too. They're really neat. They sound cool when you roll them. Let's see. Did you hear that? That's the sound of a metal D20 coming after you. Not really, no. Anyway, so as always, may the road rise up to meet your feet, and may all your adventures be successful. This is John from John's Dungeon Corner at the Collective in Altamont Springs, Florida, wishing you a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. I will see you next Friday. Bye, guys.